Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you a general reading for the week of Monday, February 6th through Sunday, February 12th. First off, thank you to everyone for following the channel, for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, and commenting. I do appreciate all of you. We are going to do a general reading for this week. It is for a large audience. I have prayed over the cards, shuffled them, prepared them, asked that each of you receives at least one message. But it is for a large number of people. You're going to notice in the next week or so, I am going to open the web page back up and start scheduling some new readings as well as healing sessions. So you may actually notice that later on this week. But just stay tuned. I am going to open that up, and that way you guys can get your specific questions for your situations answered. In the meantime, I do hope that this helps all of you. When I pray, I do ask that all of you receives at least one message so that you can get some assistance with these changes that we're all going through right now. So hopefully this does help you. And any feedback that you have, I do appreciate. This week, we are going to be pulling from Doreen Virtue's Archangel Power Tarot deck. We're also going to be pulling from her Butterfly Oracle cards and going to be pulling from Colette Marin Reed's Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Now, as I start laying these out, this week we are actually going to be having a full moon, and it's going to be on Eastern time. It'll be on Friday, February 10th, around 7:30 in the evening, Eastern Standard Time. Now, this is actually a pretty big full moon. When you guys, if you do any research about it online, you'll find that some people will refer to it as the, some people call it the snow moon. It's because historically February had the largest snowfall. Now, when I was shuffling, these two cards came out together, so we're going to lay them both out, and I'll get everything moved around here in a second. But anyhow, February historically has like the largest snowfall, so some people will refer to it as the snow moon. Because of that, sometimes it's referred to as the hunger moon, because it was difficult for people to hunt for their food with so much snow being on the ground. So you may hear it referred to as the hunger moon as well. But they're all talking about the same thing. They're talking about this full moon that we're going to be having in Leo. That is, again, this Friday, the 10th. It's going to be 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me see if you guys can see those. Wow, I got it. Yes. Okay. And I do have that zoomed in, so I don't have to move them all the time. Okay. But it's a pretty intense full moon that we're going to be having. And it's also an eclipse. So we're going to be simultaneously having an eclipse. It's actually a rare eclipse that we're going to be having. It's a penumbral eclipse, I believe is what they call it. Essentially what it means is that the sun, moon, and earth all essentially line up one behind the other. So with like a typical eclipse, you know, the moon is in between, you know, the earth and sun, and that's why the moon blacks out. And with this eclipse, the way it is the earth is going to be between the moon and the sun. So what it will appear to the naked eye is that the moon is going to be like shaded because the earth will be blocking the sun's rays from the moon. So if you get an opportunity to see that, check that out. It's pretty rare. There's also going to be a comet that's going to be visible to the naked eye as well. It's a comet. I think it's only visible every 5.25 years. It was founded by astrologists, I think in like 1948, by 3 astronomers. I know the one's name is Honda, but you know, if you can see that and check that out, opportunity to see that. But these three things combined, I mean, it's actually going to be a very, very powerful full moon. And what all this means to you is it's really an ending of a cycle. I mean, it's bringing a big ending, not small. This is bringing some big stuff that has to be let go, which is in alignment with what is happening for us this year in 2017, because 2017 really is a year to let go of the old, to break down the barriers and the things that are holding us back from taking our lives to a whole new level, to evolving ourselves to a better, greater us, to achieving our goals. So this is the first big, huge push toward that in 2017. So it's going to be very intense, especially for those of us, you know, if we've been holding on to, because it's Leo, so that's tied to emotions, relationships, romance, love, which is interesting because we have love popping up here a little bit. But if we've been holding on to things that are related to the heart, related to love, that is not serving our highest good, it's not in our best interest, we are going to be pushed to finally let it go during this full moon. Because it's that Leo ending cycle. It's like the universe God, the angels telling us it's time to move forward. It's time to let this baggage go. Because in order to move forward to the things that are awaiting us, we're like required to drop the bad baggage that's like holding us back. We can't swim until we let go of the things that are causing us to sink. And right now there's a number of us that they're commending us that we have let things go, but there's still some of us that we have some of these things that are still lingering that we just are stubbornly refusing to let go of. And we're going to be forced to do that, really pushed to do that this week because we're drowning ourselves. And we have all this support, all this divine support to let go of those weights, those things that are just tying us down and having us sink in the ocean so we can swim. So they're going to help us do that this week. So just go with that. The energies for those of you that are a little more intuitively awakened, spiritually awakened, you may find that the energies are intense. You may start to get tired as early as Wednesday. It's okay if you feel tired, take a nap, go to bed early. Don't fight the energies. When we fight things, it usually 99.9% of the time makes things harder, so don't fight it. If you're tired, take a nap, go with it. But this is a time for you to harness those energies and be like, okay, step into your power, really think about, what is it that I desire? What do I want? What is it that's holding me back? It's a time to communicate that with ourselves. I mean, to truly, honestly look at things for ourselves, like, okay, what really is not working in my life? Why am I not letting it go? Why am I not pressing forward to better things? Why do I know it's not good for me or this person's not good for me, yet I refuse to let them go so I can move on? And then communicate a strategy with ourselves. And then for some of us, maybe we've already had that inner talk, but it's now actually taking those steps, the action steps behind it that we need to push ourselves to do. And for some of us, communicating that with the other people, other parties involved. But they're really encouraging you to do that this week. Good luck doing that. You do have a lot of support with it. Again, always ask the angels for help. They are there 24/7 to help us. And again, they will not help us unless it's a life or death situation. So you have to ask for their help. So make sure you're doing that this week. So let's go ahead and get started and see what the big things are that they want to cover this week. I have prayed over the Sibilas, shuffled them as well if we need clarifiers along the way. Okay, so this first row that we have up here, we have 4 of Michael. At the bottom, it says, go ahead and hold it up real quick. It says, insights that come from quiet meditation, the need for more sleep or time off, surprise, surprise, and then seek relief from stress. And then we have building blocks. And then these are the 2 that came out simultaneously when I was shuffling them. And we have spiritual growth and sobriety. Now, the first card that we have, 4 of Michael. So the Michael suit in this deck it's a suit that talks about thinking through challenges, thinking through things and situations that are holding us back. It's really tied a lot to communication, particularly if we are, like if we're stuck in an illusion that we are feeling like we're trapped. Like maybe we're feeling trapped in a relationship, or we are feeling trapped in a job, or we're feeling like trapped in some argument or something with family or friends. But it's just an illusion is what that is. But we feel stuck. We want to free ourselves. We want to move forward. That's typically tied to communication, which is why it will often come up in this suit of Michael, because it's communicating the truth with ourselves, communicating the truth with others. And they're saying, you can't communicate the truth with others until you've communicated it with yourself. Now, if you look in this figure, she is sitting by herself by the stream. So for some of us, we're dealing with this situation. For some, it's love related. For some, it's work related, but we've just been overwhelmed and very stressful with it. Some that it's legal matter tied. It's tied to some legal matters. But it's just been wearing us out and really tearing us down and stressing us out a lot. So what they're saying is at this time, instead of continuing to stress, because oftentimes when we're dealing with something that's stressful, be it a romantic relationship, a legal issue, a work issue, if we continue to overthink and overanalyze in our head, we're just continue to create problems that are not there. And they're saying that that's been going on with a number of us that have been going through this. So this is a week to take a break. It's take a break from overthinking, take a break from overanalyzing, take the time to actually step back from the situation. For some of us to actually let go of the situation, let go of the worry, let go of the stress, step back from it. Take some time to ourselves. Like if, she's here in nature. Oftentimes when we're stressed over something, it makes it hard for us to get, divine guidance. We may be praying that, okay, I need help. I really need help with this one. And then we wonder why aren't the angels giving us signs? What often will happen is if we're overwhelmed with stress, it makes it hard for us to notice those signs. It makes it hard for us to receive that guidance. So if we can just take a breather and go out in nature, because oftentimes when we go out in nature, we will get signs. The angels, they'll use animals. Our intuition is just heightened when we're out in nature. So they will use that as an opportunity that we'll just have a big, huge aha moment. Like something will just come to us and be like, oh my gosh, that was so clear. I should have done that 8 months ago. But we get that when we take that quiet time. We get out in nature. And meditation. So meditation for some could be sitting and holding a specific position. Like when I meditate, I don't hold positions. All I do is I just simply pray. I have a conversation with God and the angels, and I'm just like, okay, I'll share what's going on. And then I just ask him, what do you recommend? What should I do? What's my next action step? Or have I taken a wrong step? Please help me. And then I'll start to get answers. I'll start to get signs. That's my meditation. For me, it's a conversation with God, Jesus, and the angels. For some, it is holding a position. For some, it's simply taking a walk in nature. For some, it's taking a drive in their car. But it's that quiet time that you spend with the divine. Because that's when you're going to get your answers. That's when you're going to get your epiphanies. That's when you're going to get your aha moment. This is a week to take the time for yourself to do exactly that. Because when you do that, what you're going to find, a number of you, is that you have everything that you need to create the outcome that you desire. So if you see here, this is building blocks, card number 28. And this is talking about, strong foundation. She's, standing on what looks like a Tetris game. It's talking about building a strong foundation, having everything that we need to create an extraordinary life. A time that we focus on what we need to create that extraordinary life. Not what others need, what we need. For some, this is love related. For others, this is work related. But they're saying that this is a time to focus on what we need. Not what others need. A time to look at, what is it that we value? What is ethically right for us? What is morally right with us? What are our expectations when it comes to relationships? What's going to be true to us? What's going to be right for us? And then to build those. So say it's relationship based, in order to have this relationship of a lifetime that is going to stand the test of time, it's going to be sustainable, long lasting. What is it that we need? How can we make positive changes to move forward to that? Because they're saying for a number of you, you're embarking on something that's destined, which is why you have everything that you need. You have the foundation, you have the building blocks. So for some of you, say it's love. You're bringing a new love into your life. You're bringing a soulmate love into your life, a destined divine love into your life. You have everything that you need, but it is a time for you to go inward and evaluate what is it that you desire. To build a relationship on a solid foundation. A foundation of honesty, clear communication. Back to our, the Michael suit. Humility, honesty. It's something that's genuine. Being also genuine and forthright with each other. But to take a look at that, because that is, they say that right now you're at a point of actually building that, creating that. But it does begin with having this inward conversation, this inward dialogue, taking the time to go think in order to take some action. Now, the interesting thing, these two cards came up, And the first one is spiritual growth, and the next one is sobriety. Now, which is interesting because if you look at chakras, your base chakra is typically, your base chakra is tied to things that are your foundation. Home, money, finances, things that would typically be tied to sobriety. Whereas these flowers are purple. Those are things that are tied to your crown chakra, the spiritual connection. But they're all interlinked and they all have to work together. Now I'm actually, let me read the book for spiritual growth, because some of you right now are going through some spiritual awakening. You've got some blocks. That's why they're trying to get you outside, so that you can hear some of the messages that they're giving you. Because for some of you, say it's a love relationship, it's a divine love that they're trying to guide you to. You're not seeing that at this point. Okay, so spiritual growth. So this card signifies that the change you're currently in the midst of or contemplating is part of your spiritual growth. It will bring about great blessings, even if challenges present themselves along the way. As this experience comes to a conclusion, you'll know that you are very strong indeed. In fact, this situation will push you to leave behind your comfort zone. You'll reach deep inside to a reservoir of strength that you didn't know you had. This strength is both peaceful and powerful, and it helps you learn a new life lesson as well as let go of old pain and forgive your past. And for some, this card is also a message about being true to ourselves, and sometimes it can also be an indicator of a legal issue that we're going through. Now, the sobriety card is talking about, okay, so for some of you, say you are going through the spiritual growth and evolution. When we go through the ascension process, or say we're like, okay, I'm tired of going to a psychic and paying money to get readings. I keep getting signs. I know there's signs about this person or this career path, but I don't know what the signs are trying to tell me. And I'd really like to hear my angel's messages, but I don't know how to turn that up. What happens is when we go through this ascension process, this awakening process, anytime that we're exposed to chemicals, it can be alcohol, it can be drugs, but it can also be sugars, foods that are not, the more light food has, so fruits, vegetables. If we're having a diet that's filled with mostly fruits and vegetables, cutting back on the sugars, we'll notice that our intuition will be stronger because it's a pure, raw, whole diet. Once we fill our diets with sugars and chemicals and processed foods, especially if we're early on in the ascension process, we'll notice that our intuition is going to throttle back. And we don't like that because that kind of makes us feel alone, like, oh my gosh, I'm not hearing anything. I'm not getting any guidance. At this time that I really need guidance, I don't feel I'm getting it. So for some, it's a message to, step back from those. For some, do a detox to clear out your system. Now, for some, it's truly talking about alcohol, or it could be drugs, or it could be a behavior, a repeated pattern. For some, it could be tied to like codependency, relationship codependency. What are they? Okay. So for some, they're saying, say this is love related. And, okay. Oh, there's more than one person out there. Okay, so what they're saying is for some, there could be a repeated pattern in a relationship. So maybe you have a love partner that you keep going back to. There's codependency issues, but it's not a good relationship. It's a relationship that keeps hurting you. So when you go back to that person, there's relationship patterns that reoccur. But for some, the reoccurring pattern is that person hurts you. Maybe they cheat on you, maybe they lie from you, maybe they steal from you, but you discover that they're being deceitful, not genuine. So then you turn to alcohol. They're saying for some, you turn to alcohol. You wouldn't be diagnosed as a full-blown alcoholic, but that's what you turn to instead of turning to friends, to family, to your angels, to those who are there to assist you, instead going inward into a shell. They're saying it's not weak. It's not to need help. It's not something to be ashamed of, embarrassed about, because you have a whole team. Because they're saying for some of you that are in this vicious cycle, it's like you start to drink heavily or turn to substances, but then you start to heal from that. You start to heal and grow from that. But then just as you're healing and growing from it, you go straight back to that person who sends you spiraling back into that same pattern over and over again. Like a relapsing, reoccurring vicious cycle. But they're trying to break you free of that. They're trying to have you grow past that, so you can move into something that's better for you, in alignment for you. For some of you, if it's a love related, we've got pinks and reds and such here, they're trying to move you into divine love. So maybe you have this partner that keeps hurting you. You keep going in this vicious cycle. They're trying to get you to break free of that. And for some of you, you may need help, because they're saying it's not a weakness. It really isn't. It's not something to be embarrassed of. So for some of you, you don't even want people to know about this side. Maybe you drink by yourself, quietly, privately. That's not something to be ashamed of or embarrassed. We all have something. We all have something. For some of us, it may be drinking. For some of us, it may be shopping. We all have something. We all have our vices. But they're saying with the right person, it's not something to be embarrassed or ashamed of, because you'll be fully accepted and loved, and they will assist you. So, situation 2. First card we have is 3 of Ariel. And at the bottom it says, do what you love, a time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, working with others in a cooperative manner. Now, typically, this card, like when it comes to the suit of Ariel, like the other suits that are in this deck, they all are tied to like emotions and feelings and communications and those warm, fuzzy things. But the Ariel suit is tied to monetary means, your materialistic world. And, this card, it's a card that typically talks about, truly following your passions. Do what you love. Do your best work. Rise to be the best you. So that you can have joy. You can have joyful experiences in life. So you can achieve that level of recognition, financial rewards, achievement that you desire. But it's also actually being able to work with people collaboratively and in a happy fashion that benefits everyone. And not being afraid to share our ideas, our thoughts with other people. Because they're saying for some, you're involved in a relationship. It's not work. You're involved in like we'll say relationship. It could be a business partner for some, although I'm getting a sense for most it's a love relationship where there's been ties to money. But it's not been benefiting you. It's only been benefiting that other person, which is why it is saying it's not been a positive experience either. There's been a lot of fighting and arguing. So it's not been happy. It's not been cooperative. It's not been collaborative. They're saying for some of you, you're in this relationship where you're giving everything you have to this other person, and you have been for a very long time. And it's time to free yourself of that, because you are draining yourself emotionally, physically, and financially, and to no end. See this wheel? They're pointing out the wheel in the background. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. But they're saying it's like it's a vicious cycle you keep going in with this person. It's like a karmic lesson that you simply needed to learn with this person. And you keep sacrificing yourself and your needs and your desires for that person in hopes that things will get better, which is, we're going to go over the white card in a moment, but it's not getting better, and it's not going to. It's time for you to fly free of that. That's interesting. Because some of you are questioning why. Why isn't it getting better? This card number 31 is why. That's what the card is. And the essential meaning of this card is that, what are the motives driving you, driving that person? What are their motives? Are their motives true? Because, so for some of you, you are in this vicious cycle with this person. Majority of you, this is a love. Yeah, it's definitely love related. It could be, with trying to keep this general, it could be a relationship with a business partner. Or there could be some business aspect to a romantic relationship. But you're questioning why. Why does this keep happening? What are their motives? Because this is a time that you clearly need to understand their motives. You also need to understand your own motives. And for a number of you, you are trying to figure that out right now. Like, why does this keep happening? Why do they keep behaving like this? Why do I keep behaving like this? Why do I keep making this choice to go back to this person, keep going through this? Or why do they keep making the choice to bring me back for reasons and intentions, motives that are not pure? Why does this vicious cycle keep happening? Because once you're clear about that, once you really take a look at that, you can free yourself of it. Then you can become a magnet for these blessings, these things that you desire, these miracles that you want. That's when you can grow. Because they're saying for a number of you, this is a karmic relationship, a karmic lesson that simply you were supposed to learn and grow from, and move beyond it. But you're kind of stuck in this place. Like the next card we have is relationship dynamics. You're kind of stuck in this place where you're not sure why you keep engaging in this relationship, why you keep going back, because it's not logical. It doesn't make sense. For some, this person keeps triggering something in you, like they're playing a heartstring. For some of you, they're saying they're playing a heartstring of yours. And it's unresolved. It's a vicious, recurring cycle spinning. They just pointed out the propeller on the airplane. It's simply spinning in circles. It's going nowhere. But you're starting to see that, and they are congratulating you on starting to see that, but you have to do something about it. You really have to. For a large number of you, they are commending you that you are taking the time to sit down and evaluate and ask why. For those of you that haven't been, that have been avoiding it, maybe you have been drinking to avoid it. It's time for you to start evaluating. Because they're saying for some of you, this person's trying to lure you back in again. They're trying to keep you from doing that. They're trying to get you just to evaluate it. Look at it. Why do you feel that way? Why does this person come back? Why do you say or do the things that you do? Why do they do and say the things that they do? You know, take the time to look, go inside, have the introspection, get the answers. Some of those answers might surprise you. Some of them may shock you. Some of them may be like, okay, yeah, that's confirmation of what I've known for months or years. But get that knowing. And for some of you, that knowing is seeing that this is not good for you and going and realize, okay, I'm putting my foot down now. I'm not going in the vicious cycle anymore because this isn't benefiting me at all. I mean, in all relationships, you know, it is give and take and it's balance, but there's okay, most of you that are in this situation, you have been doing all the giving. For some of you, for years and years, you don't get back. It's almost like they give you just a pebble to pull you back in every time. So this is time for you to ask why. Why do you allow them to pull you in with such minimalist stuff? For some, why do you allow them to deceive you? And for all in this situation, once you've done that evaluation, you understand the reason behind the why, which ultimately is to help you come to a place of loving yourself again. Loving yourself and knowing that you deserve better. Stepping into your power in order to move forward. For some, they're saying it's almost like a fear of failure. So for some of you, it's because you kept wanting to be the person, the knight on the, white horse coming in to save that person. And for some of you, it's fear of being a failure. But it's time to look at the why and let it go. It's time to shift those relationship dynamics. Because for some, there have been changes recently with this person in your life. Some of those you knew were going to come. Some were totally surprising and shocking for you. For some of you, you are starting to have some aha moments and you realize that this isn't good for you. This isn't working for you, that you're growing apart. For some of you, you are starting to spiritually awaken and you're starting to feel your feelings and allow yourself to feel your feelings. Because some of you have kept yourself numb to this person and how they were making you feel. But now that you're healing your heart and knowing that you deserve better, you're wanting to change this relationship. Most are saying you're wanting to let it go, but you feel chained to it. If you look here, up here in the corner, there's this chain. You feel chained to this person, chained to this situation, but you're not. It's funny, my friend Tara, she always says, you know, because it is an illusion. If we think that, oh my gosh, I'm stuck with this person, I really can't get free of her or him, and I can't, you know, I just can't get away from them. I can't let go. They just won't let me. I'm stuck because, you know, they take care of me financially, or I can't take care of myself without them, or they're my comfy blanket. If they don't have you chained in their basement physically, you can walk away at any point. And I love it when she says that, because if you aren't chained, get up, grab your stuff, and go. There's nothing that you can't be free of. But it's time for most of you in this situation to start taking care of yourself, your feelings, your needs. Because all relationships, romantic, work, friendships, family relationships, they all require and must have some form of compromise. But for most of you, you have been denying yourself 100% happiness and joy. This relationship has been affecting you negatively because you've been giving everything to that other person. And you've not been honest with yourself about the things that you desire, the things that you want, the things that you need. And it's time to change that so that you can heal your heart and you can move forward. And for some of you, so that they can bring someone new into your life. For some of you, they're saying they actually have someone for you, but they can't bring that person in until you let this person go. This, I don't say baggage, but they're saying baggage. This, and not weight. Like this person that's weighing you down. You know how earlier when we were talking about the full moon, about, you know, letting go the anchor, the thing that's anchoring you, pulling you down into the ocean, is causing you to drown. It's time to let that weight go. Break yourself free of that. So that the blessings, this person, because for a number of you, they say they do have someone for you. You cannot have that person until you let this one go, though. You just can't. And for some of you, you can't allow yourself to feel the emotions of this intense, unconditional love you're going to have with this new person until you love yourself enough to let go of this person that does not love you. They're saying for those of you that are in the situation, you know that. It's not a surprise. It's just having the courage to do it. Now, get some clarifiers real quick on this 4 of Michael. I think that one's pretty straightforward. Now, let's see how much space we have to move these up. Okay. Let's move these down a little bit. Okay, so for the 4 of Michael, the first card that we have is the Il de Lorente. And this is a card that, you know, it talks about, you know, delirious. Now, some people would think delirious like party, but no, look at them. It's not a good, happy party. This is talking about stupid actions, foolish behavior. And then the next card we have is a Speranza. And this is a card that actually is talking about, you know, hope, waiting, dreaming, apprehension, you know, our hopes and our dreams, awaiting those things. And then the last card that we have is the Giovine Fanciulla. And if you can see that. And this is the card, this is, it's the name of the card is Young Girl. And it talked about someone that's younger than you know, being attracted to a younger woman. Okay. So for some of you, they were mentioning for some, this is love. For a large number of you, this is love related. So for some of you, you have met a divine love. There's a spiritual connection. It is a building. This person is your building block for this extraordinary life. These things that you've been praying for, hoping for, trying to manifest, do visualizations on. And you have met that person. But because of actions, you've lost that person. Things that you've done, things that you haven't done. They're saying for some, there was no communication. For some, they're saying you chose the wrong person. But for a number of you, they're saying this is about a woman who is younger than you, that you love. You are fearful that it's over and you've lost your opportunity with her. But what you're aware of is she is hopeful that the two of you will come together as well. Not all hope is lost. And it is a divine connection. But there are some factors hinging off of communication, they're saying. When they were talking earlier about sobriety, and they were saying the codependency. So for like some of you, codependency being chemicals, alcohol, but some being a vicious cycle in a relationship with someone. So for some of you, you chose the wrong, that's what they're talking about. Okay. So for some of you, you chose the wrong person. So for some of you, you had this younger woman. And we're going to go with whatever's in the card. I know that there can be, same-sex relationships. There's, masculine, feminine energy. But you have this younger woman. You still have her. You think that you have lost that because of, in the past, your behaviors, how not communicating or going to be with someone else, instead choosing the wrong person. Instead of this divine connection, this younger person that you're being guided to build your future with, chose the wrong person. You think that you have missed out on the opportunity, but you haven't. She's still hopeful for it. You're still hopeful for it. But there has to be some action. Breaking free of these things that are holding you back. Now, some clarifiers for the Three of Ariel. First card we have is the Grand Consolone. Then we have the Stanza. And then we have the La Vicia Signora. And let's see here. So this card is, it's the Great Consolation. It's gratification after a very long time, putting a lot of effort into something. And then the Stanza. This is a card, see how the room's totally empty, no one's there? This is a card, it does mean room, but it talks about, intimacy, privacy, solitude, but you see how everything's all beat up, the curtains all twisted up, the pictures, lots of arguments, bad communication, but no one's in the room, so there's no communication actually going on right now. And then we have the card of the old woman. So you say for most of you, this is love related. So this is between a man and a woman. It's a relationship that's been a long time in the making. This cycle that keeps going around. Okay, so it's between a man and a woman. The key person is the man that's pictured in the card. So he's put a lot of effort and time into building a relationship of love. You've got, rings, money. For some, this could be his wife. This could be his girlfriend or ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, but he's put a lot of time and money and effort into building a life, a foundation with her. But it hasn't worked out. And I'm getting, for a number of you, there's not even any conversation right now. And the conversations that have been had are very anger-filled. And it's a relationship between a man and an older woman. Now, for some, she really could be older. They are saying for a small number of you out there, she's actually like your same age, within a year of your age, or older. But you're not talking to each other right now. Let's see if they'll give us anything. I don't know why. Okay, so we have the denari, and then we have the belvedere, and the ammalato. So the denari, this card is talking about, something of value. Just looking at it, straight up the card, simple meaning is money. Denari, money. And then the belvedere is lookout. If you see, she's sitting there and she's looking out to the future. Great ambitions, watching out for oneself. And then the ammalato is, the sick man or sick person. But okay. So they're saying, how they were talking about how he's invested a lot. So he's put a lot of money into this relationship, this marriage. He's invested a lot of money. He's invested the money thinking that it's going to lead to love, a happy marriage, a happy union. But she's just been looking out for herself to gain something financially. And she has gloves on. So she hasn't really wanted to touch things of deeper meaning. Cold. But looking out for herself financially. And he's realized that now. And that's made him sick. Because he's been trying hard. So they're saying for some of you, so we'll go with what we've got on the card. So for some of you, you're a man, you have this woman. It could be the opposite. There could be some of you that are a woman out there in this situation. But we'll go with what's on the card. So you're a man, you have this woman. She's a wife, ex-wife, girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. She's older than you. Some of you, she could be the same age. Lots of arguments. You've invested a lot of time, money, and effort they're saying for years. In hopes that this would be a happy union, a happy marriage. For those of you that aren't married, in hopes that it would turn into a marriage. But you invested, and the bottom core root thing was money, because she was looking out for herself financially. And notice in this card, she's alone. This isn't the love card. It's not the amore. It's not a couple. She's by herself, looking in the future, looking out for herself. Simply wanting the finances to take care of herself and not wanting to be in a relationship. And now you've realized that. And it sickened you because of thinking and believing that there was more there than there. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap it up after this because that's exactly what they're saying. So the Consolate Sorpresa, this is the card that is a comforting surprise, something that's like a partial success, but it's not what you expected. It's not as good as what you expected. And then we have the L'Animica. And this card is straight up meaning is the enemy. It's the woman who acts secretly. And the funny thing is, this is the Il Nemico, which is also straight up the enemy. But it talks about envy and rivalry and resentment and concealed hate. So for some of you, hopefully this isn't so specific. Hopefully this helps a large number of you. But what they're saying is, so there's some of you out there, you're a guy, you had this woman, ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, or girlfriend, wife that you keep going back and forth to. You've been going and spinning in circles for years. It's, this one of it's time to let that go. But you kept going back to it, hoping that it would turn into something beautiful. Hoping that it would lead to this love of a lifetime. And it was with a woman who's older than you, or almost like spot on your age, they're saying. But she was simply using you for money. You've now realized that, and that has made you sick. But you feel stuck because there's like some investments. There's something financially that has you feeling chained to her. You're feeling chained and stuck. But it's time to break yourself free of that. Because they're talking about constant circling, like reunions continually coming back. So earlier they were saying that this, some of you have a person that gives you nuggets, just a little something to lure you in. So notice she's holding a mask. So she would give you small nuggets of things to lure you back in for financial gain, is what it was at the core. And every time you would come back, because, oh my gosh, this is going to lead to love. This is what I've been working for so many years. It's finally going to happen. And so you think that, okay, I've got a success. It's not really everything that I want, because she's not totally filling you in on everything. She's still being secretive. But notice she's holding a knife. So every time you come back, she cuts you, hurts you. But every time you keep coming back, and every time she leaves with someone else. Because they're saying, those of you in the situation, she has someone else. It's the person has, for some of you, changed multiple times that she's with, but it's not you. But you finally have realized that. But instead of being sick, it's time to take some action. It's interesting because when you look at these cards, she's the same woman. She's the same woman. He's the same man. Yeah, it's a different person. Which is what they're saying. It's funny to see it actually should play out in the cards, because I hear Jesus and angels talk. So it's interesting to see the cards actually showing exactly what they're saying. So this is about a man who's been in love with a woman who's been trying to work things out with her for years. He's felt responsible for her for some reason. He's wanted to build a love of a lifetime, a foundation. He's worked so hard, invested tremendously. But it's time to let that go. But he has finally seen the truth in who she is, this older woman who, for a large number, she is older. For some, they are saying she is the exact same age within a year. But she's just been looking out for herself. She's simply been holding on to and luring him back in simply for financial gain. Over and over. It's been a vicious cycle. She purposefully, deceitfully hides things and lies, and she hides other men because she doesn't want to have a marriage in life. She simply wants the financial support. But they are commending you because for those of you that are in this situation, it has been a relationship that has repeated a number of times. You're now fully aware of it, which is why there have been a lot of recent arguments. You're not happy. She's not happy. But it's time for the two of you to come back into that room to have that final conversation so you can break free of these chains and move forward. They said look at the card at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so the card at the bottom of the deck that they said look at the bottom of the deck is military. And this is a card that is, it's a soldier. Relationships, police, military. Maybe you should leave her and join the military. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's talking about devising a plan. It's time to devise a plan. It's time to get out of the state of being sick and by all that you've lost and invested. You haven't lost it. You've simply learned. You've grown. You've evolved. It was something you were to learn to come to a state of loving yourself. So not all is lost. Look at the things that you've gained. The wisdom that you've gained. So now you can love yourself and find this true love, because for some of you, how they were mentioning earlier, you have to let this person go, because for some of you, see the purple here? Purple represents the connection with the divine. You have a divine love that's waiting for you, but you can't get that person until you let her go. So it's time to step out of this being sick and stuck position that you're in and step into devising a plan and freeing yourself so that you can move forward. and that you can once again be the Gran Signore. And this is, I mean, he is the Lord of the manor. He is the man of the high society. You have felt as though she was the person, she was the woman that you could be the Lord of the manor with, that you could rise to be the greatest you, but she's not. And it's time to have those conversations. Come up with your plan. That's so funny. Have the conversations, come up with your plan for yourself so that you can move forward. So, which is funny that that's all ironically lined up with this full moon that's there to fully support you with that this week. So I do wish everyone the very best. For those of you in a situation, it's not an easy thing to have to see and go through, but you're fully supported and you have all the help there that you could ever ask for. Just ask the angels to help you. Ask Archangel Michael to help you have that conversation with her. Or him. Like I said, we're going with whatever's in the card. There's a man in the card and all the other cards played out like it's a man who has to let a woman go. But it could be the worst. There could be some of you out there that are women that are in the exact same situation. You need to let a guy go. But if you're in that situation, Archangel Michael gives us courage. He gives us courage. And he helps us have difficult conversations and say the things that aren't easy to say and do the things that aren't easy to do. Ask him for help this week and he will help you so that you can move forward, so you can get off this vicious cycle. And for some of you, so you can move forward and start building this future that you desire with someone else. And for some of you, just enjoy your week of meditation this week. Enjoy it. Take some time, get a massage. Take a spa day, take some you time, but do some reflection. I do wish you all an amazing week. Don't be worn out by this full moon. Enjoy it. Use this full moon. Let go of stuff that's not good for you so you can have those blessings come in. Okay? So I do wish you all the best. Have an amazing week filled with lots of love, joy, and blessings.